spice lovers and pepperheads, it's Jared from Motherboard Genetics, back again for another pepper review. I think I'm choking up on my words already because I'm not looking forward to this review. Today we have a special pepper. It is a very interesting cross. It is, let me make sure I have this right, a Super Bhut, just like a Super Bhut Jolokia, crossed to a pink tiger pepper, and then crossed to a Peach Bhut. Now that is from White Hot Peppers, and they're another breeder that I really like to get my my pepper seeds from. I then crossed that to a Dragon's Breath pepper, which is the one that really scares me. Let me make sure I have the cross of the Dragon's Breath pepper. Yes, this one was bred by Neil Price in the UK. It was unofficially tested, but, you know, I'm not gonna dispute the test results. This thing is no freaking joke at 2.48 million Scoville, so it's like right up with their, or right up there with the Carolina Reaper, which is great. Let me read the Wikipedia listing. The plant was developed in a collaboration between chili farmer Neil Price, NPK Technology, and Nottingham Trent University during a test of a special plant food and for its essential oil having potential as a skin anesthetic. Well, if anyone's ever had some like, oh, why am I blanking on the name? But like icy hot or something that you rub onto a wound, or not a wound, like an open wound, but like a sore muscle, the capsaicin actually really does help in a topical fashion for, I think it's because of the anti-inflammatory properties, and maybe it does something on the pain receptors. I'm not too sure, but it works really well. You just got to make sure not to put it on sensitive areas, obviously. It says the Dragon's Breath plant was later cultivated by breeder Mike Smith of St. Asaph, Denbighshire, Wales. I swear, some of these names are so funny that you find over in the UK. Who said that he had not planned to breed the chili for record heat, but rather was trying to grow an attractive pepper plant. Due to the nationality of the farmer who cultivated the pepper in Wales, it was named Dragon's Breath after the Welsh dragon. It entered the Plant of the Year contest at the 2017 Chelsea Flower Show, where it was on the short list, but did not place. Not too big of a deal, honestly. Yeah, let me read from Pepper Joe's. It's from the UK, from Wales, yes. Hasn't officially dethroned the Carolina Reaper, but like I said, it's basically right up there with it. Oh, God. Yes, that's right. So they were developing this to use the capsaicin from this pepper to develop a new topical anesthetic for people allergic to the traditional ones, and I think that's a super cool goal. So obviously they're trying to breed a pepper that's just as hot as possible because you're just extracting it for the capsaicin content. So that's lovely. For my mouth, you know, I'm freaking out about this one. And then, so the other one, the Super Bhut, crossed to Pink Tiger, crossed to Peach Bhut, was phenomenal. I loved growing that one. It tasted fantastic. Let me read you the description from White Hot Pepper themselves, White Hot Pepper seeds, and they are at whitehotpeppers.com. You should check them out. They have a lot of cool stuff. This is a cross between the Super Bhut Jolokia JW and the Pink Tiger crossed to Peach Bhut. Both pods are the pods are massive, killing the plants with overloaded branches. The plants have a slight purple tint to the foliage that I hope gets darker in future generations. Early pods start off light green with some purple highlights before ripening to red, and boy do they ripen to red if you let them go the full length. Oh wow. They smell and taste very similar to the Super Bhut. These will be F2 seeds, so expect some variation. Mine were more or less how it was described, not as purple. I didn't get a whole lot of that. I suspect anything coming from these is going to be big and gnarly though, and hopefully some new colors will emerge and more purpling. It is of the capsicum chinense varieties. It is a super hot. Oh boy, so between those two, and I'll put pictures of both parents up on screen like right now, and I'll label them. I'll make sure to label them, and then I will put the picture of, hopefully, I think I have a picture of it growing on the plant. I hope so. If not, I have the right pepper. And it is so, it's like wrinkly, but it's not even like a traditional wrinkly. If you've ever seen a pepper that's starting to dry out, it looks like that, but right off the plant. And it honestly doesn't look like that on either of the parents, which is interesting. So I'm just kind of curious. Regardless, I have the two halves. I've de-seeded these because I'm saving the seeds. It just smells so unbelievably hot. There's like a little bit of like habanero fruitiness. Chinense varieties are awesome. They have so much variety within the, there's capsicum annuum, there's different capsicums, but within Chinense there's so much variation, and it's awesome. And they're where you get a lot of the fruity ones. So this one's no different. It's definitely not like a jalapeno smell. It's definitely more on the side of a habanero, but it's just overshadowed by this. I was asking my grandma if she felt the same way, because she doesn't have a whole lot of experience with spicy stuff. So I was like, you know what? I wonder if it's like something that I learned having eaten a lot of these, to be like, oh, that smell means that it's going to, murder you. Or if it's almost this like innate thing where you smell it, even if you don't have a whole lot of experience with it, and you just know. And I'm pretty sure it's a little of both. But if I had to say which one was more dominant, I would say that it's innate, because she had the same reaction as me. I didn't prime her at all. She just smelled it and she goes, wow, that smells like it's hot. And she doesn't have any experience with super hot peppers like I do. So definitely probably a mixture of both, but it's just kind of funny. I think it's this innate thing that we all have inside of us that's just like, I probably shouldn't eat that. Here I am, the spice nut job that I am, and I'm gonna eat it. So the look of these, like I described, long, kind of, these dragon's breath are kind of these like reaper shaped, so they have the little tip, and it definitely imparted that onto this pepper. It's definitely got the little like dragon's breath tip from it. But the dragon's breath peppers are these kind of Carolina Reaper-esque peppers that are kind of like what I think of when I hear a pod. Technically all of them are pods, but it's the stereotypical one that I think of, where it's kind of like almost circular in a way. It's got a little tip, but it's like the dimensions are more or less squared. This one would be more or less rectangular, as in, the length is much longer than the width. So not really much else to say other than, gets dark red. Looks like a good 50-50 split, maybe a little bit more on the side of the Super Boot cross, Peach Tiger, or a Pink Tiger Peach Boot cross. But pretty 50-50 split between the parents. We'll have to see what the flavor is, if I can detect any with how hot this thing smells like it's going to be. Oh god. This looks terrifying. Here's the top. I like to start with the top, get the worst part out of the way, because it's got the most concentration of pith, and therefore usually the highest concentration of capsaicin. So I'm going to, so that just in case it's so bad that I start panicking. Gonna pre-crack this Pepsi. And here goes nothing. Cheers if you're eating a pepper along with me, because you're also insane. Extra cheers. Swish it around. Oh yeah. That has some heat. Wow. Instant. Let's keep going. Whew. That one is no joke. It's one of the varieties that, like, I know it's just gonna keep building, but it's already got my, like, it sounds so weird, but my ears are pulsing. I feel the blood flow rushing to my head. And here come the sniffles. Last bite, get it over with. Oh my god. Wow. That is hot as shit. Not ashamed, I'm gonna go in for some Pepsi. So, immediately, right off the bat, cutting through the immense heat. The fruitiness definitely does come through. Now, how much you'll be able to taste of it through the heat, I'm not sure. But it does have a lot of that chinense, kind of fruity-esque flavor to it. Can't describe it too much because my mouth is absolutely on fire. But it's not a bad flavor. Now, would I say this is good to, like, chop up and put in a taco? Definitely not. This one, powderize it, you know, dehydrate it. Maybe make it into a soup, like a big pot of soup or chili or something like that. But don't just eat it plain. This sucks. The heat level, you know, it's not quite Carolina Reaper, which makes sense because while the Dragon's Breath might be, it was crossed to the other parent, which is also hot, but toned it down a little bit, thank God. This is one of the ones that seems like it's going to murder my stomach too. So that's great. Having crossed to the Dragon's Breath, you know, White Hot was talking about super prolific. Wasn't super prolific for me. I don't know if that's just because it was F1 and I need to stabilize it, but the Dragon's Breath definitely did not seem to help how prolific it was at all. This is definitely one of the hotter ones that I've reviewed. Kind of reminds me of the Starscream, although that one was acutely worse. It disappears, thankfully, pretty quickly. This one, it's like that slow ramp, at least compared to the Starscream cross. Slow ramp, hurts all the way down. Just not a fun time unless you dilute it into something. My mouth is starting to regain feeling, but you know, it's going to be probably another 10-15 minutes before I'm not even completely normal, just semi-normal again. Almost finished this Pepsi, just been taking lots of sips, but been cutting those out. Not enjoyable. Fun to grow, I guess, but I would recommend a lot of other ones for culinary uses. This would be a good one just for like extracting heat and maybe making a powder out of some chili flakes. But other than that, this one's kind of novelty. It's almost like I need to go eat a banana or something. Yeah, so like I said, flavor, you know, it's not the worst pepper I've ever tasted, but a lot of these super hots, it's like a fleeting, you know, trying to detect any little bit of flavor before your taste buds get burnt off. So it was alright. The heat is unforgiving. I would liken it to a ghost in heat, which makes sense from one of the parents, but man, would I ever use this one? No. There's a lot more that I would like to use for various types of culinary purposes over this one. While I think that it could be used for, you know, different things, I would just prefer to grow other stuff that A, is more prolific, more forgiving in terms of heat level, because my rationale is always, sure, you can eat something that's unbelievably hot, or like grow a pepper that's really, really hot, and then use it, but why not just grow a plant that ripens faster, is super prolific, and then if you really want to ratchet up the heat, add 2, add 3, you know, instead of being so, I don't know, limited almost by the heat of the pepper, because once it gets past a certain point, it's like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do with this one, you know? Am I gonna cut off like a quarter of it and put it into the entire like 4-serving dish for the family? And even then it might still be too hot. Like what is the point of that? And I still love growing them because I'm insane. But I don't know. For average people, or even people who like spice but, you know, just haven't dabbled in the super hots, I don't think it's that worth it. So that was my review today of the Super Bhut cross to Pink Tiger cross to Peach Bhut, then that cross to the Dragon's Breath pepper. One of the hotter ones, not one of the ones that I would super recommend growing, you know, like a must-have in your garden, but, you know, not one that I would completely disregard. That was my review. Check out my other pepper reviews on this channel. Like if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. I'm trying to compose my thoughts here. Comment, questions, comments, whatever. I like when people talk to me about peppers because, you know, it's not a small community, but it's not a huge community, and usually, at least in the friend groups, there's like one pepperhead who is just seen as insane by all their friends, so it's fun to talk to people about it, especially in the comments. So leave a comment, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.